10 classic muscle cars that look fast, but aren't. Welcome back, gearheads. Today, we're diving into a list of classic muscle cars that look like they could tear up the drag strip. But don't be fooled. These beauties may have the looks, but they seriously lack the bite. Buckle up as we break down 10 muscle cars that promised speed, but delivered disappointment. 1. 1974 Ford Mustang II. It may wear the legendary Mustang badge, but the Mustang II was a huge step backward in performance. This second-generation pony car was built during the oil crisis and aimed more at fuel efficiency than power. While the body styling kept some of the aggressive lines, under the hood, it was mostly underwhelming. The base engine was a 2.3L inline-4, making just 88 horsepower. Even the top-of-the-line V8 only offered 140 horses. Laughable for a muscle car. It struggled to hit 60 miles per hour in under 11 seconds. Ford marketed it heavily, but performance fans weren't buying it. The Mustang II was more of a cruiser than a bruiser. It looked the part, but couldn't back it up on the streets. A classic case of all show, no go. 2. 1976 Chevrolet Camaro. The 1976 Camaro looked mean with its sharp styling and muscular fenders, but performance was at an all-time low. Thanks to emissions regulations, the most powerful engine you could get was a 350 V8 with just 165 horsepower. That meant 0 to 60 times in the 10-second range. Hardly impressive. The car had decent handling for the era, but straight-line speed just wasn't there. Chevy tried to make up for it with sporty trim packages, but the power was simply lacking. Enthusiasts were disappointed by how tame the Z badge had become. The Camaro still turned heads, but not at the stoplight drag races. It was a victim of its time. Great looks, soft punch. 3. 1980 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. Made famous by Smokey and the Bandit, the Trans Am looked every bit the street warrior. The big scoop on the hood and that flaming bird decal screamed performance. But by 1980, emissions restrictions had taken their toll. The 4.9-liter turbocharged V8 made just 210 horsepower at best. That wasn't terrible, but the car was heavy and slow off the line. Turbo lag made acceleration unpredictable and clunky. It handled like a boat and had more bark than bite. Still, it remained popular thanks to its Hollywood fame. A car that looked ready to race but barely kept up with economy sedans. Cool? Yes. Quick? Not really. 4. 1971 Dodge Charger SE. The 71 Charger SE looked wide, low, and aggressive, like it was built for the drag strip. With its long hood and muscle-bound shape, it seemed ready to rumble. But the SE Special Edition was more about luxury than speed. Most models came with smaller V8s, like the 318 or 360, putting out under 200 horsepower. Even when equipped with a 383, power was modest due to detuning for emissions. It had heavy suspension and was more of a cruiser. Despite its muscle car image, it couldn't hang with true performance cars of the era. Still, it was stylish and comfortable. A great ride for Sunday drives, not for street races. 5. 1978 Ford Torino. By 1978, the once beefy Torino had turned into a full-size boat with a muscle car face. Its design kept some aggressive cues, like a wide stance and strong grille. But under the hood, things were sad. The top 351 V8 made under 160 horsepower. It was slow off the line and struggled to deliver the punch you'd expect. The car was huge and heavy, further hurting performance. Its size made it feel more like a luxury sedan than a muscle machine. The ride was soft, not sporty, A disappointing end to what was once a true muscle contender. Looks? Yes. Speed? No chance. 6. 1982 Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS. Early versions. The Monte Carlo SS eventually became respectable, but in 1982, it was still finding its footing. The early models looked sporty with their sleek body lines and optional ground effects, but the base V8 only made around 150 horsepower. Performance was underwhelming, especially for something labeled SS. It could barely break 10 seconds in a 0 to 60 run. The car had good road manners but no muscle under the hood. Chevy later improved things in 1983 and beyond, but the 1982 model was all image. It looked fast sitting still, but don't expect fireworks behind the wheel. A slow start to a future classic. 7. 1977 AMC Matador Coupe. The Matador Coupe had a funky, futuristic look that made it stand out. The long hood and raked roofline gave it a muscle car vibe, but performance was forgettable. The available 360 V8 was sluggish and barely cracked 150 horsepower. The car was large and heavy, dulling any performance edge. AMC built it more for style than speed. Interior comfort was decent, but acceleration wasn't. It was more of a personal luxury car than a street bruiser. It looked ready for a chase scene, but belonged in the slow lane. A rare classic with more flair than firepower. 8. 1981 Mercury Cougar XR7. By 1981, the Mercury Cougar had shifted away from muscle and into luxury. The XR7 trim added sporty touches like rally wheels and special badging, but it couldn't disguise the sluggish engines underneath. The most common option was a 4.2-liter V8, making only 120 horsepower. That meant slow acceleration and poor response. It was a comfortable cruiser, but not exciting. The looks suggested performance, but it wasn't there. Drivers expecting a sporty ride were disappointed. A muscle car in name only. Another stylish shell with no substance. 9. 1975 Dodge Dart Sport. Compact and aggressive-looking, the Dart Sport seemed ready for action. With flared fenders and optional hood scoops, it had visual appeal. But powertrains were underwhelming. The 225/6 was reliable, but slow. Even the 318 V8 couldn't make this car feel quick. Emissions laws had sapped much of the muscle out. The car had decent handling for its size, but it wasn't fast. Dodge tried to keep the sporty image alive with graphics packages. But performance was stuck in first gear. Great for looks, not for speed. 10th. 1983 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme Hurst Olds. This limited edition Cutlass had bold paint, a rear spoiler, and performance stripes. It definitely looked fast, but the 5.0-liter V8 made only 180 horsepower. The car was more about style and collector appeal than real performance. It had a trick lightning rod shifter, but the driving experience was mild. 0 to 60 times hovered around 9 seconds. Not bad, but not great either. The suspension was soft and floaty. It was fun to look at, but couldn't match the muscle cars of the past. A 1980s take on muscle that missed the mark. Another case of performance in appearance only. And there you have it. 10 muscle cars that looked the part but didn't walk the walk. Got a favorite slow muscle car with killer looks? Drop it in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the world of classic cars.